Hey everyone, Christina here with Ginger Mama Tarot, coming at you with your Divine Masculine Cancer Extended Tarotscope for the month of September. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please keep in mind we all hold feminine and masculine energy. This is about balancing our own yin and yang. And so if you're uncertain if you're more imbalanced in feminine or masculine energy, feel free to visit my website, gingermama.com. It has 3 A's at the end, and you can look at free blog content there. I have a bullet pointed list of like wounded feminine, wounded masculine, healed feminine, healed masculine energy. All right. People who are more avoidant in connections, way more in their head space than their heart space, maybe not as easily able to access emotions or feelings, are more wounded masculine energy. Those that are way more emotional and overly anxious or codependent in that way are more wounded feminine energy. So also, if you're unsure, maybe watch both and see what resonates with you. So it's interesting because the Six of Wands flies out right away, which means victory. So this month, you might have a victory of some kind coming in. We're going to dive more into the cards in a minute, but let me first, I want to reflect on what I was channeling for you. So when I was channeling for you, Cancer Divine Masculines, it was actually like the image of someone like at a, what do you call it? Like an older, like a fish fry, like maybe in some type of community space or what do you like with the war, or do you know what I mean? Like coming together in community, and like it was very laid back, like people just drinking beer, having fish fries, like community, like going back to your roots, I guess, is what it really felt like to me. Like no one like trying to be better than anyone, no one being showboaty. It just felt really like raw and real. And I was like, now I really want to go to a fish fry. But that was what was coming in. So maybe fishing is significant. I'm not sure. But that was coming in. Just this idea of maybe you're really like, you know what? I want to get back to my roots. Like, who am I at my core? And if you can do that, you definitely have victory this month. Okay. That's what this journey is all about, is identifying who are we in our most authentic states. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the astrology before we dive into more of the cards. On the 5th, we have Venus, the planet of love. A lot of people like to talk about Venus in the sign of Virgo. And so Virgo is a wonderful energy that really grounds us when it comes to love and relationships. It can be very practical and organized, but it's also highly intuitive. So asking yourself, okay, what do I want from true romantic connections? What are the practical things I look for in others and myself? And what are these more intuitive, emotional needs that I have or others have, and how can I tap into that to balance both, right? Maybe around the 5th, make a list of like what it is you want in an ideal partner, and make a list of that, but then read the list and ask yourself, am I embodying those qualities? If you want someone nurturing and kind and, you know, whatever it is, like financially stable, like great in the bedroom, like list it all, but then ask yourself, am I embodying these qualities fully? Because what we're attracting are the same frequencies for which we operate. Or sometimes we're attracting the polar opposite. And that's why sometimes they don't work out, okay? So ask yourself, what am I calling in love? I want to embody all of this so that I too can call it in. Do I want someone to communicate clearly, to be emotionally vulnerable and available with me? Am I being emotionally vulnerable? Am I communicating clearly, okay? So that's what's going on around the 5th. That next morning on the 6th, we have the moon entering Aquarius. The moon transits signs all the time, goes through lots of different signs throughout the month. Not a big deal. However, the moon hangs out in Aquarius till the 8th. And on the 8th, we have Aquarius conjunct Saturn, which for me, Aquarian energy is all about the collective, right? It's about this bigger picture of like, you're going to be called to ask yourself, okay, where do I fit into the bigger picture when it comes to my friends, my family, my coworkers, society? Like, what is my soul purpose? Why am I here? What do I really want to achieve on my time, like during my time on earth type of thing? It's a big question, right? So maybe take some time around the 8th to look around you and ask yourself, how do I feel around these energies? Like, is it really gossipy? Is it really peaceful? Is it really stressful? Like, what is happening here? And if you feel the need to pull back, pull back. I mean, be clear with someone. Hey, I'm going to take the next 3 or 4 weeks to kind of just chill. I'm doing some healing work, whatever you want to say, right? But follow up and say, I'm going to reach out to you in 3 or 4 weeks. Unless it's a situation or a situationship or a connection you're trying to totally cut off, then cut that off fully and say, this is not going to work for me. I do not want a connection going forward. I'm completely done. I mean, that's an emotionally mature thing to do. If you do not want a romantic connection with someone, to completely end it, not try to hold on to like friendship fragments or something. That's an excuse you're making when you really want to move forward, okay? So be mindful of that. Because that's a direct reflection of how you're treating someone else and how then they will treat you. But yeah, I think some of you might also be in this energy of nostalgia. I was just going to say the Six of Cups comes out. Maybe missing someone from the past. Reflecting maybe on the past. Again, that fish fry energy of like, where do I feel comfortable? Like, who would I feel comfortable with in love? And maybe some of you thinking about that soulmate, that twin flame, the one that got away, whatever you want to call it, the one you didn't choose initially for whatever reason. And I feel like many of you are really considering, like, I kind of want to come in with like a cup of love, an offer, like I want to communicate, but you know that this feminine, their guard is really high up. That they've set very clear boundaries with you and been very clear that like they're done. And so many of you are feeling like, well, shoot, it's too late. It's not that it's necessarily too late. The issue is that you continue to stall on your decision. And so this is all about you speaking from your heart space, you speaking your truth, okay? Whatever that truth is. It's not about if this person takes you back, if this person wants to be with you or not. This is about you being honest with yourself, with source. Yeah, I really love this person. I care about them, so I'm going to tell them how I feel. And you're always going to feel better when you're speaking the truth. The truth shall set us free, right? So tap into those emotions around the beginning of the month. On the 9th, we do have Mercury going retrograde. I know a lot of people get worried about that. It's nothing to get worried about, okay? All right, Cancers, it's nothing to get worried about. Retrograde will continue through September 1st. And so it's going to be kind of a long transit there. But understand, it doesn't mean you cannot communicate. It just means think through what you're going to say before you say it or respond to communication. You also might have past lovers, past exes, karmics, whoever reaching out to you at this time. Again, tie up any loose ends there. Anything you need to say what you need to say and be done. But speak the truth from your heart space, okay? Don't get too logical with this, all right? This feels like a time for you just to be very honest and frank. But honest from your heart space, not like cruel from like a frank headspace, if that makes sense, okay? And then on the 10th, we have that full moon in Pisces. So especially if you have Pisces placements, this might be really a big one for you. I feel like some of you, again, yeah, it's like you're in conflict right now because you're missing some type of like nurturing energy in your life. Maybe this, twin or soulmate, whatever, you're like, they were so kind and nurturing. Are you kind and nurturing? I mean, do you see how this works? Like, you're not going to get that if you cannot give that. And that's where the Five of Wands comes in. Did you put this person in conflict, in competition? Did you purposely kind of go in, but act like you could have other options and you're so cool? Check in with that. That's not acceptable behavior, okay? The Queen of Wands is always going to know if she's being put in conflict and competition. So be mindful as you communicate. If you're trying to do that cycle again, they're going to call it right out. You're going to be called right out and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what the hell? It's because you can't treat a divine feminine like that. You can't. You're either all in or you're not. Feminine energy only feels safe when there's commitment, stability, communication, right? So that's what you're committing to exclusively dating this person, committed to clear communication, committed to, whatever it is you want in that connection. And if you want to be with other people, it's saying, I want to be with other people and with you. And if that person's okay with that, great. If they're not, okay, you don't get that person. You don't get that nurturing energy. And also, you need to be giving it as well, okay? You might also be feeling a lot of envy right now in your environment. Maybe it's coworkers, maybe it's other, energies, feminine energy. Check in with that. When we're feeling envious of others instead of supportive of others' success, we're putting that back onto ourselves, okay? Anytime we see someone gaining momentum or being successful in their lives or their careers or their relationships, anything in their life, it's a sign for us to say, way to go. That's the universe showing me what I can embody and become in my own creative flow and way if I tap into that, right? And that Queen of Wands is all about being your most authentic self, completely stripping it down and saying, who am I in my honest state? If you can tap into that honest state, you're able to creatively flow and become exactly who it is you want to be, okay? So yeah, the moon, again, the moon reversed, I feel like you are keeping secrets from yourself about your true feelings, about what you truly want. You're just like afraid to go into that subconscious place. Maybe deep shadow work, things like that. You're like, no, I kind of did that one time. It's like, have you really done it on your own with source? Have you really pulled away from other energies, gone into isolation and done this, and then come out the other side and been like, I am stronger for this. I will communicate my truth clearly. Because secrets are not going to fly. In New Earth, it's all about energy. So people know when you're keeping secrets. People know when you're not being genuine. And that might make you angry right now, King of Wands reversed, because you feel like these high priestesses just know. Everybody embodies high priestess energy, to be clear. You're being asked to find your own. But the way they found theirs was through channeling anger, right? And I know that might make you feel wounded or timid, or you're like, no, I don't want to get angry. You don't have to get angry at anyone, but channel the anger that is within you. I mean, you should be angry that you can't tap into these emotions more clearly. Maybe anger about past pain or trauma. Maybe anger that this connection somehow fell through, right? Like maybe it's imbalanced sexual energy, whatever it is. You need to be working through channeling this with source and really, really finding a way to move your body, move yourself, and like get upset, punch the pillow, cry, scream, write, journal. This is about doing this on your own. And this is real deep shadow work. It's not called Dark Night of the Soul for no reason. It's a dark freaking nights and days and weeks. And this is a process. And if you really want to access that intuition, that high priestess energy, you're going to have to go deep in that subconscious, okay? And that water sign energy. You can do this. But I feel like so many of you are like, nope, I don't have to make a decision. It'll get better. It'll just work out. And it's not. This takes effort and work. Manifestation is thinking, feeling, and taking the action. If you're not taking the action, it's not going to get better. Many of you do not want to admit, lovers reversed, the people you're hooking up with or were are not your real lovers. They're not. They're just people you were just giving sexual energy to or taking sexual energy from. And this is imbalanced. And you got to ask yourself, why do I do this? Maybe you think you're empowering yourself, but every time we have sex with someone, we're creating a soul tie, we're sharing energy. It's the highest way in which we can share energy. And so again, instead of looking to others and what they're doing, you need to look in the mirror right now. Say, what am I doing? What am I doing? How am I treating others in my environment? Okay. I know you might be sad about this. You're like, but I didn't mean to. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I intended. And you might be feeling grief, sorrow, pain. Walk through that. Feel that dark night of the soul, the depression, the sadness. Look back to these 2 full cups. And again, that full moon in Pisces, a great time. Write a letter to yourself. Write a letter to your younger self. Say or your future self. Say, I will protect my sexual energy. I will feel emotions again. I will get in a conscious connection. I will not treat my body, mind, and soul in this way. And then burn it, release it. Say, I release all fear around this. And as we go into that new moon energy, maybe that's a letter you write that you keep. New moon is all about what we want to call in and manifest. And full moons are what we want to release. And then we have Venus going into Libra on the 29th. So again, if you're not balanced in how you're dealing with relationships right now, if you're very imbalanced in sexual energy, or you're not emotionally available, or you're all about finances, or whatever imbalances you have are going to be made very apparent if you have not been putting in the hard work. It's going to really swing. So my computer is dying. My battery said dead, so again, Many of you, your batteries might be feeling low this month. Your strength might be depleted. That is a sign you're not pulling back from other energies to go into your soul and do the deep work on yourself without being envious, without worrying about others, with simply saying, I'm going to do the work because I want to do this for me. This isn't about other people. This is about me. Okay. So you can do it. I know you can. If you guys would like free content, please check out my TikTok page, Ginger Mama, or my website, gingermama.com, has a lot of free blog posts. You can also book a personal reading with me through my website. It's just Ginger Mama, there's 3 A's at the end though, .com. So what else do you need to know with these Moon Oracle cards? Yeah, work through your fears. I think many of you are so hung up in these other connections because you're afraid to confront your own fears. And that is always what will hold us back. There is no room for fear. Every time fear comes up for me, it's about releasing that. It's about saying, okay, God, I'm afraid of this. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to walk through that. I'm going to cry. I'm going to get anxious. I'm going to do the thing. And then I'm going to step back up and do it again. Yeah, conclusions are within reach and a new start is coming, okay? And you are good enough. You are good enough. You are great. But you need to pull back right now and focus on you. I feel like September is not the month to be out partying. It's not the month to be around other energies. Tell yourself, I'm going internally in the month of September. And then that way, by the end of October, November, December, the holidays, you can get back out there and be feeling much more grounded and confident in you. All right, I love all of you. Please subscribe if this resonated, and I will see you back next month.